So we're having a catch up with George Elokobi. It's our final home game of the season tomorrow. George, ahead of that game, how have the preparations gone?
Preparations has gone really well. Our boys have worked ever so hard this week. We know what test is ahead of us tomorrow afternoon against a very good Notts County side. We know what their strengths are, and we have to respect their strengths. And it's going to be a good game in front of our home crowd. Last home game of the season. We want to try and put in a good performance to try and win the game because it's important. And we've approached training with what we want to try and how we want to try and implement ourselves in the game against Notts County, but also out of possession, how we need to set up tactically to make sure we're not left open in the different units within the team.
Obviously, you faced Notts County. I think it was your first game when you took over as caretaker manager. You're obviously expecting a different side and obviously a different approach that they take to that game tomorrow.
Not really. Notts County doesn't change the way they play. They've got quite a good structure in how they play the game, both in possession and out of possession, and they're not going to be any different. They gave us a good game up there in terms of how they move the ball in the central areas, but also they like to build up play. They can mix it up, so we expect them to do both sides of the game in terms of how they try to build up the player and they always try to end up with an end product, and that's no different tomorrow. However, on the flip side, we have to look at how to head them as well, which we've worked on throughout the week. So our players are more than ready to go into the game, to be full of confidence, and we give them that freedom to be able to express themselves in the right area, especially when we are in possession of the ball, and also out of possession to work as hard as we can in a unit in order to try and make sure we nullify Notts County's strengths.
Now, for those that went to Halifax last week, long journey for them, so we of course thank them for doing just that. Would have seen that you really were. It was down to a 16, wasn't it, that you took? Obviously, part of that's a long journey, but part of that, of course, is still a number of injuries around the squad. Can you give us a bit of an indication as to how that the injury situation is?
Yeah, the plan wasn't to take 16 players up to Halifax last weekend. However, as we've seen it throughout the season, especially in my time when I've been interim, and now the manager, has been injuries after injuries, and last week we was down to 16 players at the football club, and I had to make sure I selected the team that was right to start the game, and also we saw Perry coming on again, and we saw young Nathan Gage coming on as well, making his debut for the club, which was fantastic for us. We had the plan, but with the injury update, I know some of our fans might be thinking, where are these players? The likes of Ben Williams, he's been injured for a while now with an ankle problem. You've got the likes of obviously Galvin, who was doing ever so well and then suffered a setback in training, and that pushed him back in his recovery. Rafe Brown was suspended coming back, and I think there's one more from the top of my head. So Wanja Smith as well. We know our situation we have to manage him as best as we can. It's about not damage limitation. It's about being sensible in our approach, in not playing him if we can rest him and make sure we look after him, so we build him up for next season. And I listened to the head of medicals, Paul Smith, and listen to Stephen Beasley with the medical advice we get of our players, of where they are in terms of the injuries and their availabilities, and I have to respect that as a manager, and that's why we got a squad of players that we can choose from, and whoever is out there training with us throughout the week and completing the training sessions, then they are the ones that I'm going to try and select, and we're going to try and select as a management team in terms of the personnel we put out in the games that we're playing.
So on the plus side, from the injury front, we've seen one of those that was out for quite some time, back in training today. Ryan Galvin, that must be very pleasing for you.
Yeah, it's good to see Ryan Galvin back. The last time he played for us was at Oldham, when he suffered the hamstring injury, which was quite severe, and he's been working ever so hard. We've been in close collaboration with his parent club, Sheffield Wednesday. He's been out working and ensuring that he was going to be back, even if it's for one training session, which is the determination of Ryan to ensure that he's got that hunger and desire to push himself, and with the advice of the medical department to ensure that he was available for the last couple of games for this season. So it's all credit to the hard work that's gone on both sides, especially to his parent club, Sheffield Wednesday. I've been in contact with obviously the manager there, Darren Moore, who has ever been very helpful in terms of the informations I've been receiving on Ryan, but also being in communication with Ryan just to check up on how he's doing. And not just Ryan, it's been Dan Bardin as well as Mamadou Job. I'm in communication with these players just to check up on them and see how they're getting on. Hopefully we might see not just Ryan tomorrow, we might see maybe if their program or schedule permits, we might see Dan Bardin, we might see Mamadou Job come by to say hi to the fans. It will be good to see them, but if not, I know they've had a great time here from our conversations and their contributions here with us, and we are very thankful to their parent clubs for allowing them to come and add a little bit of value to our squad. However, going back to Ryan, it's been good to see him, but we have to manage him right as well, and he's trained with us yesterday and today, and he's chomping to bits to have a little bit of an impact. And hopefully once the team and the squad and the bench is picked tomorrow, we'll see who is there and we'll see who doesn't quite make it. But it's good to have him back on board for these last 2 games.
Now, we already spoke about 2 games left. We know about those, and obviously you'll be preparing for each one as they come along in the next 8 days. But already one eye on next season already. Is there anything that's occurred this week in your discussions for next season?
Yeah, definitely. There's always, yes, we've got 2 games left. We've got, after today's session, we've got 3 more training sessions to go next week. And our eyes obviously on Notts County tomorrow, but away from that, we've been thinking of next season, and we've obviously made offers to a couple of players that we feel can add value to our squad, but one of them not here with us today is Josh Onobari, which we've made a good offer to from the club's perspective, from myself, and he did turn down the offer. And he tendered the offer I think yesterday, and it was right that as soon as that offer was turned down, we have to move on to our next targets, because we haven't got any time to wait for anyone to make a decision. Yes, we want players to commit, but we also want honesty from both parties. And so that's an update on Josh Onobari. So as of today, he's not a Maidstone United player, and that decision was made by myself and the board, and we move on from that into our next target. But also, I want to reiterate how thankful I am as the manager at this football club, on behalf of the club, for his contributions. He's shown some good moments with us this season, with our fans. Would have loved him to carry on developing with us and keep bringing those good moments when he played to his full potentials, but that hasn't been the case in the last 3.5 weeks. Hence why I've made the decision to obviously move on from Josh Onobari. But I thank him very much on behalf of myself, the management team, and this football club, and we wish him all the very best with his future, and we'll definitely meet again.
You say have discussions ongoing. Are you hopeful that perhaps within the next 7 to 14 days we'll start seeing some names popping up?
Yeah, definitely. I'm hopeful that the players that we've been speaking to and the ones that we are yet to speak to will definitely give us we'll hear some news from them, but we have to make sure, yes, we carry on working up to the very last game of the season, and then we'll get more news from us as a football club as to where we are with the personnel that we've been speaking to. But I'm hopeful, and yeah, I do believe the offers that we've made to players, they've seen and they've experienced in playing out there and in training, they're enjoying themselves, and they can commit to us for the next season, because it's important for us as a group to carry on working and carry on developing, and then build a good squad around these players.
George, thanks for your time as always. We'll catch up with you again after the game. Thank you.
Thank you very much.